Hi everybody, I'm going to leave you this link, Fukushima Update 2018. It takes you through the whole event, what's been going on since 2011. But I'm just, going to play you this little bit from what a sailor had to say recently as he sailed from Japan to the US. I noticed that there's a lot of references to Jesus in this video as well, but apparently people are waiting for Jesus to come. I tell you, Jesus will be the most unpopular person on this planet, because there's not one faith or political policy or whatever that Jesus is not actually offended by the interpretations and the application of the faiths and the politics, which generally are about oppression, they're about denying people's human rights. I mean, any faith that is not upholding human rights is a faith that is misinterpreting the reality of God, okay, the concept of God. Now, the concept of God is either demonic or angelic, okay? So the true concept of God does uphold human rights. God isn't a consciousness that stays trapped in the ideology that people lived by thousands of years ago. We've moved on, okay? The consciousness, life, is constantly learning and changing, evolving, adapting to new knowledge. Whether that's knowledge about the environment and you're a creature and you're adapting to survive in the environment, or whether it's knowledge about that we learn consciously about ourselves and therefore we change accordingly. But unfortunately what's happening is that we're getting lots and lots of knowledge, but life on the ground is very, very far behind. It's lagging behind. And the people responsible for that are the people who call themselves superior in this world, who think they're a cut above everybody else because they're educated. But if they're not applying their education, they're not sharing it, okay? So, for example, let's take somebody like this guy, Professor Christopher EXLEY. So he's done a lot more for the people, because he's spent 35 years at Keele University, Professor Christopher EXLEY, studying the effects of aluminium, or aluminum as Americans call it, on the human body. And what he has to say is very important. There are direct connections between the aluminium toxicity in vaccines and autism, and possibly other behavioural problems in children that we're seeing a huge rise in, such as ADHD, okay? And apparently the answer to these problems, like ADHD, is to put children on Ritalin, which is actually speed amphetamine. That is what it is. They're giving children amphetamine. They become addicted to it. It's a highly addictive substance. This is really serious. It's so serious, and it's treated so trivial. Children are just a minor concern, aren't they? But, you know, these problems go right through up into adulthood. So we're talking about damaged children, the children being damaged through the vaccinations. We've got this ongoing horror at Fukushima, which nobody's talking about. And as we understand now that right from the start, as people like myself already knew, they were lying to us. They lied. Because those plants, you know, the Fukushima plant, it was going through 3 melt-throughs. Meltdowns and melt-throughs. We're talking about a China syndrome event. It's going directly into the Pacific Ocean. The creatures are dying. It's really, really serious, people, and you're not waking up to it because you're all too busy pontificating over the ridiculous policies of our governments. You know, this far-right extremism that's been unleashed in every society at the moment, and you know, Brexit in Britain. People are getting all angry about Brexit. You know, we want a hard Brexit, they're saying. Stupid people. I mean, what people want to lose all their rights? Want to remove food, safe, cheap, affordable food that's safe, that according to EU regulations that are much stricter than the regulations of America. What country decides that no, we don't want the affordable food, clean food? We want to buy expensive food from America that's contaminated with Monsanto pesticides and what have you. But we've contaminated the planet. These scientists who develop these things, you know, the modern day bishops, they are the equivalent of alchemists. That's what they are. They have their own education system. Apparently it's an education. They're witchcraft, because that's what it is. Witchcraft. Messing about with things and then unleashing them on the public, and then suddenly, oh my gosh, yeah, it's really toxic, it is dangerous. Like, for example, asbestos. With their scientific creations, and then suddenly you find, oh, it's really damaging to life. Well, we already knew that nuclear power was damaging to life. Why the bloody hell was it ever built? Why were these nuclear power plants built when they had nothing to deal with a melt-through? Nothing at all. Nothing. Oh, it's never going to happen. Really? Really? Well, it has happened. So let's shut every single one of these nuclear power plants down, because they are a danger to our planet. If anything, if say there was a huge event of, say, meteorite strikes, what is going to happen when you look at the amount of nuclear power plants on our planet? It is literally pulling the plug on life. It is outrageous. It's just outrageous. And, you know, people like Kevin Blanche, Dana Daneford, H. Thomas Ackerman, who are just 3 people that are covering this, okay? They understand that what's happening is serious. And they can't understand why other people are just not bothered about it. Just not bothered. So, is there any hope for the planet? Is there any hope? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Because personally, I think humanity is a lost cause. Humanity generally is a selfish, greedy, pig-headed entity. And that's it. You know, that they are on the same level of consciousness as a pig. So what's the point of them being human beings? As human beings, they're just a cancer. They're just a cancer. That's it. I hate it. I hate this world. I really do. I don't hate the people. I understand why they're so messed up and confused, but at the end of the day, it's a hateful world, and they, like pigs in shit, are wallowing in it in the West, while the majority of people on this planet are suffering, struggling to live on less than a couple of dollars a day. We've got a government here in Britain that's supporting that disgusting attack, Saudi attack against the Yemen, the people of the Yemen. Why? Why are they doing that? Why are millions of children starving and being bombed? And the British government supports it. And the British people, what are you saying about it? What are you saying about anything, British people, apart from your own desires, your own hates? You hate, oh, immigrants, get rid of the immigrants. Well, I'll tell you, this is an immigrant. Nuclear power, that is an immigrant into our consciousness. Who brought it? Who delivered it? Who is right now messing about with quantum energy particles in their Hadron Collider and creating what? Even scientists, even Professor Stephen Hawking has warned the scientists about, you know, you are messing about with fire. Why are you doing this? Because they don't know what they're doing. They're literally stabbing about in the dark. And it is abominable that they created nuclear power with no remedy to deal with the melt-through. It's like, well, first of all, before we build these nuclear power plants, we do actually need something to deal with the melt-through in case it ever happens. But no, it's never going to happen, because they wanted the nuclear power. They want these reactors because you can't make a nuclear bomb without a nuclear reactor. That's the fact of it. You don't need to go further than that. You need a nuclear reactor to create a nuclear bomb. Now, if you tell people that, oh, we're building these nuclear reactors because we need material for nuclear bombs, people won't be so happy to have them. But if you say to them, oh, we're building these nuclear reactors and it's going to be providing you with electricity to boil your kettle and run your fridge and what have you, cheap electricity. Oh, yeah, that's all right. Oh, yeah, and lots of jobs. Lots of jobs. Well, why? Who are these people? Just because they've got this alleged education. Let's say, call it out for what it is, alleged. It's an alleged education. It's an education in witchcraft, as far as I'm concerned, because it's witchcraft that's killing life. And when you look at what witches were persecuted for and murdered, you know, people who were judged as witches hundreds of years ago, in every society, mostly women, but men as well, murdered in the most brutal, horrific way, because apparently they have the power to destroy our crops, poison the water, rain down fire and pestilence from above, destroy our fertility, sap men of strength, and withdraw your holdings from a distance. Well, the same consciousness that was doing that to women in our communities, women who were just healing people a few hundred years ago, now have the power to do all of those things with their witchcraft. Because that is what it is. It's been dumped on people, people have been lied to, people have been given a false sense of security about it, and they even lied to us about what was going on. The BBC in December 2011 announced to the British public that Fukushima was now in cold shutdown. Those were their exact words. That's the BBC News. Well, I'm sorry, the BBC are not that stupid. They knowingly lied. They lied to the British public. They lied to the public of the world, saying that Fukushima was in cold shutdown when it wasn't. it was going through 3 melt-throughs. And nothing has been done. Nothing. And that, it is disgusting. It's been difficult to live with. It's been an ongoing source of depression for people like myself. Now, all this talk about Jesus, well, I have witnessed an event of light being. It has communed with me. It communicated the message of universal law of abundance and compassion through an energy of bliss. Nobody believes me. So how's Jesus going to come back? Do you think that he's going to come back as one man and everybody's here to be worshipped? No, that is not the way. Okay, Jesus comes back to humanity when humanity returns to Jesus. That means when the people of today connect with their true humanity, as Jesus was a true human, an intelligent human. And that's what he was sharing, intelligence. But nobody wants to know. Nobody wants to know because they want to stick with their same old, same old, same old. They do not want to be liberated. They don't want to be liberated from the confusions and the misinterpretations of their religions. They do not want to know that they are wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Oh no, I can't be wrong. Not me. No. How dare you say I'm wrong? But that's the whole point of forgiveness, isn't it? How can you be forgiven unless you accept that you've been living wrong? That you have misinterpreted your faith, that you are living by a politics that is actually evil. Like, for example, this evil Tory government that Parliament finally has decided to hold in contempt. A Tory government that through its policies has murdered 120,000 people. That's the official figure. People murdered, killed directly through their economic policy. Economic terrorism that they've titled austerity. You know, this is the world that we are living in Britain. And Britain is a small nation. If the people of Britain can't unite and stand up for what's right, if they can't connect to their humanity and be an example, a beacon to the rest of the world, then, oh no, it seems what Britain wants is to become another trumpet state. We want to be a trumpet state, fully supportive of the Zionists and what they're doing to the Palestinian people. We'll ignore that. We'll just let that go on for decades. Our government, the BBC, they'll all support it. Now, alright, Israel was created. Those people are there. They had their territory. Sorry, you've stepped outside the bounds of your territory. Zionists, who call yourself Jews, you've stepped outside the bounds of your territory. That is unlawful. You have illegally occupied lands that are not yours. That is unlawful. You are persecuting and attacking people because they are trying to stand up for their rights and to defend their own lands. Apparently they have no right to defend their own territory. What kind of nonsense is that? It's total nonsense. Were the Palestinians trying to take back the territory that was given to Israel? No, they weren't. The Palestinians were trying to defend the territory that they had left. And you have illegally occupied it. You can try and justify it, Zionists. And by the way, you're not Zionists. That's the other thing. You're not Zionists. This is what I mean about corrupted faiths. You are not Zionists. Because Zionists are Rastafarian. Go and have a look at a Rastafarian. Look at their lifestyle. Their lifestyle is the most perfect lifestyle on this planet. That's the fact of it. That if God came down to earth tomorrow and was looking for a people that were living most according to Jah will, not the devil's will, Jah will, of right equals might to do as thy will, then the Rastafarians would come out on top. Being vegan, devoted to compassionate living, non-violent, non-extremist, meek and righteous people. The Zionists, the true Zionists, the Rastafarian, they come out on top. You people now calling yourselves Zionists, you're not Zionists, you're a set of criminals, and that's the fact of it. You're wrong. And the only way to stop being wrong is to start doing right, and then you can be forgiven. Be forgiven, you see. Everybody, oh Jesus, what? Jesus will forgive us. Will he really? What? When none of you are prepared to accept that you've been doing wrong, that you've been living like total idiots on behalf of Mammon, the gold worshippers. Well, I tell you now, we need all that physical gold. We need it at Fukushima to seal in this radiation. That's the fact of it. It's the only thing that's going to save our planet. But apparently, no, we love gold so much that we'd rather treasure and protect that than protect our planet. Well, if that's the choice that humanity's decided to live by, well, you're doomed. You're doomed. You will get syntheses, evil revelations. You will get them because you're too stupid. You haven't got the intelligence of the people of Nineveh, who on hearing an evil prophecy said, no, we don't want it, we're going to change. But you people of this planet today, in the so-called developed world, you are the most underdeveloped people on this planet. You really are. Your consciousness is low. It's below zero. Okay? Your standard of consciousness. Your standard of care and compassion. Because if you've not got compassion, if you can't live with compassion, you're not intelligent. You're a disabled intelligence. And that's who you set for your leaders. People who have no empathy. Disabled intellects, because they can't empathise. They have no compassion. They haven't got the intellectual capability to be able to empathise with other creatures and even other human beings. That is clear. Why are you electing these people? Oh, because they're going to put pounds in my pocket. You see, that's your God. That's your God, developed world. Whether you know it or not, that is your God. Money. The money that they create on the belief in the value that they've set of their physical gold. Well, real gold is the light, the golden light, the intelligence, the higher intelligence that Jesus shared. And that's when Jesus returns, when people start living by that higher intelligence. Because these are the days of troubles and tribulation. And yes, the weak are going to need to get strong, because you are not going to survive humanity. You look at your children and look at them. Think what future you have given them and what future lies in store for their children. When they are having to explain that, oh yes, well, when I was a child, there used to be such a thing as dolphins and whales and this and that. The sea was full of all these creatures, but, you know, they're all extinct now. Why are they extinct, Mummy? Well, you know, it's because of nuclear power and Fukushima, and slowly it's killing everything, and we can't do anything about it. Why can't you do anything about it, Mummy? Well, because they don't know how to deal with the melt through, you see. Nobody can deal with it. Well, why did they make it, Mummy, if they didn't... If they couldn't deal with the melt through? Well, you know, because they needed to make nuclear bombs. And we needed it for power to boil our kettle. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you can't make sense of it to a little child, okay, I tell you now, it's crazy. It is crazy. And that's why I hate this world. That's why I hate it. It's full of bigots, judges, and ignorance. Ignorance. And confusion. And in the confusion, you know, I've had somebody today sent me something on Facebook that, you know, they're building mosques in Australia. We need to stop it now. I contacted the person. I said, look, what is wrong with a mosque? People just go there to pray to God. What is wrong with it? People are so upset about a mosque being built in their city or town, but they're not upset about these monsters of consciousness building nuclear power plants. Which is more deadly and dangerous? A mosque full of people who go to pray to God, or a nuclear power plant? And this is what I mean. You know, Jesus was so right. They will strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Well, that camel's going to kill you people, so you better stop straining at the gnats. If you're so worried about immigrants and Muslims and these things, there's something wrong with you. Your brain has been screwed by idiots, by psychopaths. You're straining at gnats. Remember, that's a gnat. I'm sorry. In life, you will have to swallow a few gnats. You will not survive swallowing a camel. And that's the way it is. And that's intelligence. And that is from universal light being. Oh, but nobody wants to believe it. Nobody wants to accept it. They all want to stick with their little petty hates. Well, those petty hates and the divisions and the blindness that you people are living by, it is killing our planet. Okay? And people like myself who are aware, who are enlightened, it is a pain for us to live in this world and to witness it all. And even worse, to witness the levels of ignorance from the people on this planet who consider themselves most civilized and most intelligent, most educated, most developed. Well, you're not. You're total idiots, ignorant pigs is what you are. Get real, people.